Hi, this is the fourth in a series of videos by GrayLine, highlighting GrayLine's sales and trading model that will help individuals price, analyze, and present interest rate derivatives. We've entered the input screen right after the file is opened, and a default structure has been entered into the inputs and calculated so that we have a rate, a retail rate for a 5-year $5 $5 million loan with a monthly frequency, 20-year amortization with a constant payment, and a swap that mirrors that same structure. What we want to do is modify this and resolve for the retail rate accordingly and save that indication. So let's assume for the moment that our other assumptions, like whatever is relating to data, is all set, and we just want to modify the structure of the loan and the swap to match. So first thing we'll note is that we want the start date to be, we'll start at the top. It's really a $4.5 million loan instead of 5. They're not going to be able to start until the 15th of the month, so we'll say 5/15/2015. It's going to be a 2-year, not a 5-year, so we'll say 2 in the term. Notice that everything has adjusted as soon as I put the specifications in. I'm going to leave these other things as they are with the day count conventions and amortization day count. We've got a 2% credit spread and a 2-day look back. So let's say instead of constant payment, we'll keep constant payment. Instead of 20 years, we'll say, let's say a 15-year amortization. The start of the amortization is immediate, so we don't need to put anything here. I've made these adjustments. Now I want to copy from the loan to the swap. When I do that, all of these adjustments are made. You can see that in this case, we've got a mid-market swap rate calculated. Based on SCM profit in basis points of 5. Really, I think I'd rather solve for the final rate. So instead of basis points, I'm going to say, okay, let's make the final rate 325, and that will automatically solve for these other factors. So first thing I'm going to do is notice that everything is ready, but I've got 2 model checks indicated in this box. The exposure valuation table must be refreshed, and the swap amortization rate does not match the retail rate. So let's do the second first, and say that the goal seek to match these out. I'm going to do that this way, and it turns out that, yep, 325 gets you a match across the board. So okay, but it says still that I need to calculate the exposure tables in order to get all these charges right and build up from the mid-market swap rate to the retail swap rate. So right mouse click, calculate exposure tables, lifetime, so I want to get the entire life of this, and here we go. We're launched into these, you've seen this before, the charts appear, calculate each one of the components. When it's done, it kicks us back into the input tab, and everything's clean. So no model checks necessary. The retail rate turns out to still be 325, and these are all of the components of the credit charge, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, we solved for the final rate, but we needed to know what these would be in order to get us to that. The plug here is the profit, so whatever is not risk adjusted through these charges gets put into profit. Small DV01, PV01, so that amounts to a lot of extra basis points in order to get what seems to be a modest profit on this transaction. Now, when we go down to, I'll click over here to the saved indications sheet, and you can see that there are some samples that are already here. When you click on anything in the blue, it gives you this nice description. We'll come back to this later, but note that the last indication was time-stamped yesterday and here's the hours, minutes, seconds, etc. But this was the structure that we saw, and this is different from the structure that we have now. So I'm going back to the Inputs tab, and I'm going to say when I click on this Add to Description, it gives me a list of these could be client names or descriptions of some kind that are already in that saved database. I'm going to choose GrayLine Testing because that's what we're doing here. And I'm going to right mouse click again, go to Manage Indications, and store the current indication. So store the current indication takes consideration all of these different variables that have just been calculated here. And now I'm going to right mouse click again, Manage Indications, and go to Saves Indications. Simply goes to the saved indication sheet. And notice that I've got another indication that I've just put in there. It rounds the 4.5 to $5 million. It's a 2-year swap, monthly frequency, 15-year AM, constant payment. And all of these factors are in here, including the base swap rate, the all-in fixed rate, PBO1, etc. So even shows what our profit will be and our credit approval. And that's, all the details are out here to the left. If I click on something that's white, it turns out that does not give me that window that shows all the summary details. Summary details is oxymoron, but there we have it. And I can look at those as necessary. As always, you can learn more at our website, GrayLinePartners.com. That's GrayLine, GrayLine, partners.com.